Spotify Wrapped is coming up, and before we check out our Spotify Wrapped, we're going to make some predictions and see if we can get our top 5 favorite artists right. What's your draft for this one? We'll go down from 5 to 1. What's your number 5?
Okay, my number 5. More than likely, I am going to predict it is going to be Linkin Park.
Oh, yeah? Which songs do you like from them? What are your favorite songs?
Personally, I like Numb. Numb is a classic.
It's a good song.
Crawling's another very good one. Oh my god, I can't think of the name of it. What's the movie that like gets the meme with all like the
Yeah, I
Michael Bay
know. We
edits?
know. I don't have the song title off the top of my head, but, after the
Yeah, that
election, those Joe
song's always
Bidens.
a classic.
Yeah.
And like pretty much Chester, like the Chester era of Linkin Park is what I'm looking for.
Got it. Did you listen to any of the new songs from?
I have, and I wasn't really the biggest fan of it. I can appreciate that they're trying to keep the legacy going. Personally, I don't think she just does it the same way that he did.
I'm a big fan of the song "Heavy Is the Crown." That's a really good song, and even "Emptiness Machine" I think is pretty good. I listened to the album, very mixed. I feel like the singles were stronger, but the rest of the album, it's gonna take some time to really sit with me.
Yeah.
My number 5 is gonna be Paramore, not because I was really seeking them out
Okay.
this year, but because they were always on. My roommate Gabe is a huge Paramore fan. He got me into them last year. Have not listened to the Riot album. I've only listened to their newer stuff, the stuff from like 2013 onward. I did listen to Brand New Eyes this summer, which has Ignorance. That's a pretty big song from them. But I'm a big fan of Paramore. I think they're a really solid band. They're definitely one of the most consistent bands of the 21st century.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially with like this kind of like pop like rock that they kind of go with
Oh yeah.
for like some of their songs. I feel like they
Favorite
do sell it the best compared to other bands.
favorite songs I guess from them are Crave, that's off their new album. Hard Times is always great. Grudges is fantastic. I think there's a song called Pools I really was a big fan of, and the self-titled album from 2013 is just straight up bangers constantly. Daydreaming, Drive My Car, Grow Up, Part 2. There's just so many bangers. What's your number 4?
My number 4, as far as my predictions go, is going to be Nickelback.
Never made it as a wise man. Couldn't make it as a poor man stealing. This is how you remind me. Are we gonna get copyright stricken from that?
No, we shouldn't. As long as
Oh,
we don't use the actual song, like
the
we'll be
algorithm.
fine. Favorite songs, I'd have to say, Someday. Let me go through the
That's
list
from the
here. Far
Spider-Man movie,
Away,
right?
and I'd probably also have to say When We Stand Together are my top 3 songs from them.
My number 4 is gonna be the late '70s, early '80s group The Police. I listened to most of their albums this year. I listened to their 1980 record Zenyatta Mondata. It's a good record, and I listened to pretty much the rest of their records except for the first one. I just never got around to that. But the other records, Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic is fantastic. Obviously, Message in a Bottle is a classic. Yeah, pretty solid band. And I wouldn't personally put them in a top 5 or even top 10 for favorite bands, but just in terms of what I was listening to this year, they were pretty frequent.
Absolutely. I didn't even know you listened to them. I'm
Yeah.
surprised that's in your top 5.
New development. New Lucas Lore dropped.
Yeah. New Lucas Lord did just drop. Now, for my number 3 slot, out of left field here compared to the rest of the artists. Very out of left field.
Has been
Number 3
Hotel. No.
is going to be Lady Gaga.
Whoa! Alejandro! Wow, that's crazy. Okay, tell me, what is the Gaga got? What is the Gaga got?
The Gaga got Poker Face, Just Dance, Paparazzi, Bad Romance, Applause. I could go on.
Bro, I didn't know you were Stan, dude. That's awesome. My number 3 was the well, there's still a thing, but everyone associates them with the 80s. Duran Duran. Duran Duran went through
Okay,
big.
that's a fucking deep pull. Holy shit.
I've always been a fan of Duran Duran because my parents raised me on it. I listened to all their records, and this year I went through a bit of a renaissance with them because I ordered a book about their history. It's mostly the first few years, let's be real, kind of a ripoff. But I listened, as I was reading that book, I was listening to their albums, and pretty much everything is mid except for Rio. Rio is one of the greatest records I've ever heard. It's 9 tracks, just the best new wave synth pop, synth rock you're ever gonna get. The rest of their records, I feel like each album they have has like 3 good songs on it, but Rio is just a masterpiece. I highly recommend listening to that album.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now for my number 2 slot, this is going to be a controversial take, so bear with me here. But my number 2 slot, in my opinion, I think it is going to be Kanye East.
Kanye East, Ye himself. Did you listen to the new stuff he dropped this year?
Yes, I did, and personally, I wasn't a fan of it. Like, I will stand on the hill that 2000, whenever he dropped, what was his first album, like with the
College
bear
Dropout.
walking out the door? Yeah, College Dropout to My Dark Twisted Fantasy will be the greatest run that he will ever have as
Absolutely.
far as an artist. Some of my favorite songs from him are Can't Tell Me Nothing, Heartless, what the hell's Gorgeous with him and Kid Cudi, Power, and where's this last one at? Homecoming are probably my top ones from him. You just
His
throw on
music.
one of his tracks, dude, your confidence gets boosted by 10.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Not when you listen to Green Day though, which is my number 2.
Yeah.
I love Green Day. I put it on here for safety. I don't think I've really sought out Green Day that often, though that's probably a lie. I've definitely listened to most of their albums this year just because they're always in my top 3. What can I say? They're one of my favorite bands, and I got to see them earlier this year. Shout out to the Saviors Tour. They did 2 whole albums. They're taking a note from Taylor Swift. Favorite songs from
Damn,
them?
2 whole albums.
Yeah, I can't even recommend favorite songs for them because I would just go on. So I'm going to plug the albums Dookie, Insomniac, Warning, American Idiot, even Nimrod, Kerplunk. Pretty much anything they released from 91 to '04, give it a spin. Even their new record, Saviors, it's not bad. It's got some good songs.
All right, and for my number 1 slot, as far as my predictions go,
I can make a
I
banana rhyme
believe
with orange. Banana.
Oh, you know it too well, Lucas. It
I
is
know you
going
do.
to be Eminem.
Let's
Personally, I just think, like, now granted, this might sound a little controversial, but he is the greatest white rapper of all time.
let's
I don't
face
think
it.
that's a hot take. I think he has that bar for bar compared to anyone.
No, literally. Like maybe Mac Miller, but I mean, he wasn't able
If
to
we
really
would have,
establish
yeah, if
himself.
we would have gotten to see the full fledged out career of Mac Miller as a song artist, he definitely could have been in the contention. I just think we didn't get enough of him for him to. He's definitely a clear 2 in my opinion. And then
Yeah.
3, you have Little Dicky, but we don't talk about Little Dicky.
Oh, he's not even in the conversation. You put Lil Dicky above Logic?
Oh my god, I forgot about Logic. Oh my
Bro,
god. All right,
first
scratch
they
that.
forget about
Yeah.
Dre, and then they forget about Logic. What are we doing?
Yeah, okay. All right, yeah, Logic's number 3. Some of the songs I can mention from Eminem. This was a feature, but Forever with him, Drake, Kanye, and Lil Wayne.
Crazy
Without
lineup.
Me, Sing for the Moment, and Till I Collapse.
I feel like I'm glad you didn't say Houdini. When I hear Houdini and I realize it's not Without
Houdini's
Me,
terrible.
I get so mad. That album's not good. I listen to some of it. It's kind of
No,
trash.
I agree. The album with Godzilla was better, and that isn't much better.
No, literally, yeah. At least there were songs on Music to Be Murdered By I could listen to. My number 1, I think you know what my number 1 is. It's Fall Out Boy.
Oh my
We're
god,
going
yeah,
down,
okay, alright.
down in an
I
early
had to
down.
think about it for a
Sugar,
minute.
we're going down swinging. I will also take royalties from you guys if you want. Yeah, I love Fall Out
Royalties.
Boys. Their run before the hiatus is unmatched, and their most recent album is goated. Favorite songs from them: Fake Out, Love from the Other Side, anything off Folia Do. A little less 16 Candles, a little more Touch Me, Hold Me, whatever it's called. The Takeover, The Breaks Over. They have a lot of long titles, but yeah, big fan of them. Listen to them pretty much all year. From now on, we're enemies. Love, love, love this band. So, yeah, we're gonna check out, see if we're right, and I guess whoever's more right, loser has to review a piece of media they don't want to review, and the winner gets to choose that media. So stay tuned for next week.
All right, I like that. I like that idea.
We'll see. We'll see what we got cooking. We'll see what we got cooking. All right. So now that we're 12 minutes into this episode, a little longer one this week, we're going to be touching on the 1964 classic Doctor Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. What did you think about this movie, Marsh?
Okay, so weirdly enough, compared to the other movie that I watched, the last movie that we watched, Princess Mononoke, I felt like this movie was kind of bland.
Really?
I'm not gonna. Yeah, I felt like this movie was just kind of like, imagine like, an old white grandma cooking your food. Like, just imagine like the most bland thing ever.
No, no.
Like, just imagine like a peeled potato
We love
with
grandmas.
no seasoning. No, I agree. My grandmother's cooking is decent, but I'm talking like the generic like white grandma. Just how
Yeah,
bland it is.
she's from Vermont. She's got like a
Like per
corduroy that doesn't fit her.
like personally, this movie just like really didn't have me as in caps to it as far as Princess Mononoke goes. I mean, I shouldn't really be comparing films to each other on that aspect, but I just feel like this just wasn't as interesting for me. I know it's a cult classic, but this movie, as far as like, the whole fear of the entire world blowing up, I don't feel like it was emphasized enough to the point to where it actually wanted to make me matter that, oh yeah, this could happen at any given time, especially in today's day and age where they just toss around, oh yeah, once World War III happens, nukes are going to be flying everywhere. Like it just didn't do that because this movie is set during the Cold War, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's just like some of the plot points with Jack Ripper, who was the dude that was talking to him? Oh my god, I can't. The dude with the mustache. He was like the other dude that
That
was captured
is
there with him.
that's Captain. I'm gonna mispronounce the name. Leonel. Captain Leonel Mandrake.
Yeah, Mandrake. I felt like they honestly had the best like character duo
They
as
did.
far as like what they were trying to do with the film because most of this film is like a character duo and then you have all your other characters just saying like their one off to two off sentences. Like you never really have like a full ensemble scene between like a whole bunch of different characters. Even in the Pentagon where you have 30 people or close to 30 people just sitting around in a circle, I felt like I heard four people talk and that was about it. But personally, I mean, it wasn't a terrible film. This film wasn't for me, as is my best way to put it. What do you think about this film, Lucas?
The thing that surprised me was that it's a comedy. I didn't know this was a comedy. I thought this
This is supposed to be a comedy.
this is a comedy. Did you not see how many gags there was? The Nazi guy like trying not to salute when he's basically suggesting genocide.
I mean, I can see that, but like, a comedy's supposed to make me laugh. I don't think I chuckled once.
It's a funny film. I enjoyed this film. Obviously, I feel like a lot of themes are really precedent in this film. Turgidsen's character just perfectly represents the Cold War Red Scare fears that McCarthyism invoked in the 1950s, even now with red baiting that you have in current politicians. Whereas the dude in the cap who's like, yeah, that guy,
Oh my god, I don't think we ever got his name. He's like your like cowboy American. He's like the dude that you see in like a Marlboro Red commercial.
yeah, going off to like the edge of the canyon. Um, that dude just really reminds me a lot of George W. Bush, just sort of like the free, happy cowboy who's just trigger happy, willing to save the world. You want to save the world from some commies, and then you literally have uh. President Muffley, you have Mandrake, who are the only sane ones in the situation, who are just trying to develop a ceasefire. There's also all the funny bits with the Soviet ambassador Sadetsky. Just the sheer drama. They're like, "You're gonna bring him down into the war room here, where we have the big map of everything. He's gonna take pictures of us." Or what's it called? The freaking there's another. Oh, when the president's like, "This sort of behavior never happens in the war room. Why are you acting out?" Freaking peace in the war room. It's I could see how like the jokes don't land. I definitely see that, but I had a good time watching this. And then surprisingly, I had the opposite effect. The last 30 minutes, I was very engaged. Like when they obviously I knew where it was going because I'm familiar with how this movie ends, but I felt it was very interesting to see sort of the tension rise, the dramatic irony of the plane getting like heralding down toward the missile, even though it's not detected because they don't have any radio, they don't have any communications. Could things have been shortened down? Oh, certainly. The first act kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was not a fan of this movie until we got to the president's scene. I feel like that was where I sort of started to get invested. Beforehand, it was kind of like, okay, well, you have Jack the Ripper, who's literally just an insane person, Warhawk to the extreme, who's just got like a red scare frothing out of his mouth. But after that, it was pretty good. But the ending of this film, I feel like that's the thing that really got me, where these characters, like the world's over. The line where they talk about, we're going to need bombs for when we come back out, just says so much. And it's so precedent in these modern times. It just, that line, it's timeless. It's ageless. It's like great literature. Amidst the comedy, it's a lot like Barry, where it perfectly balances comedy and drama. And I feel like the paranoia, literally the eugenics that they're talking about during the climax, much to the chagrin of the Nazi, that is just wow. That's a fantastic ending. I'm a big fan of it.
I thought the ending was interesting. I did honestly. All right, I'll go back on this statement. The two scenes that I found funny was the one I just mentioned, and him riding the nuke going into Osaka, which I think was the town that they were hitting, or whatever the hell that they were hitting with the nuke.
Yeah.
But that hit him doing like the cowboy thing, riding down on it. I actually didn't know this, Lucas. They referenced that in a Call of Duty game.
Really?
Yeah, so Nuketown, one of the most acclaimed maps for COD's Black Ops multiplayer. One of the scenes is the nuke with a dude riding on it, doing exactly like how this dude did at the end of this film. I thought it was like a crazy callback to me because I literally have watched this countless times, and I never knew that it was from this movie.
Well, did you know? I literally just found this out right before watching this because I had completely forgotten about the opening credits of the film. The main guy, Mandrake, he's played by
Yeah.
Peter Sellers. Peter Sellers, comedic genius, fantastic actor. Yeah, same dude who plays Mandrake plays the President and Dr. Strangelove.
What?
Those are all the same actor.
What? I'm baffled.
Because
I'm fucking baffled.
The only reason Columbia Pictures wanted to finance this film was if Peter Sellers played at least 4 major roles. And in the end, he ended up playing 3, but that's insane. I never would have known.
That is wild. Yeah, I never would have known that either if you didn't tell me it.
Insane range. Also, fun fact: we keep having some fun Star Wars trivia. James Earl Jones makes his film debut as Lieutenant Lothar Zog.
I did see that.
Yeah,
I did see that. I saw that he was in the credits when the movie started. Was he one of the dudes on the plane?
Yeah, he was. He was like the guy who was
Okay.
in charge of
So that's why I didn't recognize him. I was like, huh, where is he at in this film? Because at first I thought he was just like the dude narrating the film in the very beginning. I thought that's what he was doing because he is known for doing that with a lot of films, being the like kind of narrator. So I thought that's where they were going with that. But I was pleasantly surprised to find that out, Lucas. I'm not gonna lie.
So what are you rating this film?
If I had to rate this film, I'm giving it a 2.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, this one was not like, I don't know, this movie just didn't hit for me. Like the jokes weren't there. The suspense of, the whole Cold War, oh yeah, if we blow up this one place, the entire world's gonna blow up. I don't know, it wasn't there for me.
It's not your
And personally, like the characters also weren't that interesting. Like I feel like Bergenson, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, or Bergelson, whatever the hell it is, the dude who's sleeping with the secretary.
Yeah.
I feel like he had the best character development out of any of them. He was just kind of like a character that got introduced like a third way through the film.
I feel like this film, none of the characters really change. Like everyone just sort of stays the same. Maybe you can make an argument that Mandrake changes, but I feel like the point of this is that we are going down a dangerous cycle and everyone's just going to keep playing into their instincts, their fear. Because remember at the end, he's like, I don't trust them. He's constantly saying, I don't trust them.
Yeah, and literally at the end of the movie, we can see why he didn't trust him because he literally took a picture.
That's true. He did. And then you have mushroom clouds. I met someone the other day who's scared of mushrooms. I'm not showing her this movie. No, yeah. So I'm giving this film a 4. I'm a big fan of this film. I feel like nothing is really unnecessary except for the first act. But once we get to the president, that's when I'm just sort of all in. I think the comedy lands for me. I feel like the political stuff is very prevalent today. This film is just as important now as it was back in the 1960s. And yeah, that ending. Whew, that's a powerful ending right there. Lots of laughs, lots of woes. I'm a big fan of it. Now, in terms of where we're ranking, because this is the first film we've had a serious discrepancy on, we've argued before, but the current ranking goes Akiru, The Apartment, Singing in the Rain, Return of the Jedi, Lawrence of Arabia, Toy Story 3. I want it more toward the top. You want it more toward the bottom. How do you feel if we compromised? What if we put it in the middle? What if we put it below Return of the Jedi but above Singing in the Rain?
I'm fine with that. I'm
Okay.
cool with that.
Sounds good. So next week's film is the 1985 movie Come and See. After finding an old rifle, a young boy joins the Soviet resistance movement against ruthless German forces and experiences the horrors of World War II. Directed by, forgive me for the mispronunciation, Alem Klimov. I'm excited to check it
Oh,
out.
so we got another war film, dude. What is this? The third war film so far?
Yeah, people love violence. People love wars.
Apparently so.
Guess we'll just have to come and see. Zing. All right, that wraps up this
God
week's
damn it.
episode. Give us a listen, give us a watch on all our platforms. You can check out Marsh at slarshbonez on Twitch, and we'll see you next week.
Peace out, people.